All right, guys, let's go. Double gas opening up here in the top right side of the map. All right, guys, let's go. It is going to be a big old PvP. That's right, cheesy bastard. Mr. Hero in the top right, a guy who's been on an absolute tear lately. He has been trying so hard to get into the World Championships. I don't think he's going to be making it there this year, but next year we'll definitely see him there once again. Remember that Hero retired, literally went to the military right after BlizzCon 2019. He's been back in it the last 6 months, but in this match, he's up against someone even cheesier than him. In the bottom left, this is Haas. Now notice Haas cut a probe there so he could build this pylon at what appears to be a normal time. You go, oh, second pylon's in your base, cool, this is a normal build. Little does he realize there is a pylon out front. And Haas, the problem is though, because he scouts with his probe and then leaves so early, this gives away that he's proxying. This really gives away that he's proxying. Notice he leaves to the left, he's now going to cut south in a moment and then proxy down there. Pylon on the left side for Hero as well, so both. Oh, so Hero sent a second probe out, and I think Haas maybe realizes this and is looking for it. Okay, so I think Haas with his scout looked at the probes and said, hey, you're actually one probe shorter than you should be. This is the sort of detail that Haas might actually look for. Very few players do this. I've pointed this out once when coaching a very high-level pro Protoss player. I said, hey, you know, you can actually count the probes to see if someone's done a trick like this, because normally people see the scouting probe in their base and they say, well, that's the only probe you have on the map, therefore you couldn't be proxying. Little does Hero know, Haas counted the probes. He said, hey, you've got one less than you should, you naughty boy. And he's checking almost everywhere for proxies. And I say almost because there is, in fact, a pylon on the map. Funnily enough, though, it's not proxied. Hero is building the Stargate at home. But a sneaky pylon on the left side of the map. Now, the two Adepts of Hero do get caught by the two Stalkers of Haas. And I think Haas is actually just doing an expand off 4 Stalkers. This is a very nice opening. Oh! Hero with the Warcraft 3 micro blocking. Choking on my own spit. I got so excited. He was blocking that Stalker from getting in range to finish the shot off. That was beautifully done. Now, Haas still hasn't built his Nexus. This is so crazy, guys. He's doing an 8 Stalker pressure. This is an old school build. I have an old guide on this. He should really chrono warp gate so that he can warp in the next 2 Stalkers ASAP. But he also needs to get moving aggressively if he wants to get out there. He's got to go. The funny thing is he's so convinced Hero's proxying and he's checked almost everywhere. And it's just a Stargate into an Oracle, which is now coming out, and he does see it. Okay, good scout here for Haas. Great job scouring the map. And he's dropped a Nexus and a Twilight behind it. And if he can defend all this, he'll be good. But, oh! The Adepts have slipped around. They've slipped by him, and they are going to shade on into the main. One of them is very damaged, though. So that's 2 probes. Should be able to get 3, and maybe 1 more. But, oh, he targets a probe that was kind of far away, and Haas with some cute micro to pull that back. Only 3 probes for the 2 Adepts. Not too bad for Haas. Now, Haas is down a probe, though, and there's an Oracle on the map, and his Stalkers move out. Uh-oh. He does warp in 2 more to cover it. Blink getting chrono boosted. Haas is playing only Stalkers. So when Blink kicks in, Haas is going to be very aggressive. He's going to try and pick off units and then blink away. Pick off units, blink away. The only problem he has is he has no way of spotting the high ground. No sentry for hallucination, no robo, no Stargate, so he won't be able to blink into the main, which would actually probably be the more powerful move. Getting some damage on the Nexus right now. And Hero, he's going to look down to come and skirmish with this, but a better angle for Haas here. His Stalker did get a little blocked on the pullback. That Oracle, I'm just waiting for it to fly in on the other side of the map. Good split fire from Haas here. It is going to be a 3-for-3 trade by the looks of it, but Haas chases a bit too far. Might lose another one. He's got more Stalkers coming in right now. Hero, though, has an Immortal, and Big Daddy Immortal's going to say, leave, dickhead, and he will have to back off. Oracle is still in the back. Haas, he's oversaturated in his main. He needs to warp in Stalkers at home if he wants to get that natural mining, but it looks like he's so focused on the front. And this is very peculiar. Haas also getting another proxy pylon on the map. Wants to hide a DT shrine, I believe. That's what I would imagine that position is for. So any moment now, I expect that DT shrine to go down. Actually, wait, he's not going to because he saw the Immortal. So now he knows Hero's gone Robotech. So he was planning to do it because he saw Hero was on Oracle. And Stargate usually goes straight into Twilight Council, which means there's very little detection. And if this Oracle died, the DTs would be a winning move. But having seen the Immortal, he now, of course, is not going to go for that. He's building a Forge. He doesn't realize. Big attack coming in from Hero, but, oh, Blink's not done for either player, and there's no shield battery. Oh, Hascourt being way too greedy here. Loses a Stalker for free, and he's trying to warp in more units, but he's only got 2 gateways. He's going to have to pull probes. He realizes, yeah, oh, he's got Blink now. Does he blink forward? 2 Stalkers on the back. They kind of try to join up with the rest of the army. I think it's time to blink forward, but he's worried about the Prism just saving these units. Oh, he gets the Prism, and he gets the Immortal. Oh, very good micro by Haas. Haas is so good at picking these Stalker fights, and There's no getting home. Hero going for a rather crazy push. He didn't have any sentries or zealots or anything in there. Captain Rando Calrissian himself is rallied into the map, and when that dies, he's going to leave the game. Haas not noticing it, though, funnily enough. Hero does manage to recall it. Still no battery on the low ground. Haas has had the economic advantage. The Oracle just came in and got a few probes there. It says 6, but the Oracle only has 4 kills. So I think some of those were from the probe pull earlier. Oracle's there. Stalker, sorry, blinking back, gets a Stalker, almost gets a second one. But the double Immortal will defend. Remember, though, no Twilight Council, no Forge for Hero. This puts him in a very bad position tech-wise, where he probably just wants to keep warping in units and then just go for another big attack using the power of the Warp Prism. On the other hand, Haas, he's building +1. He's got Blink. He's making a Robo. He's not actually up in probes, thanks to that Oracle, which, of course, did fall. But 10 probes in total going down on Haas's side of the map. So Hero's done some good economic damage to keep himself alive. Haas just needs to keep building units and make sure he can't die to the Immortal Prism push, because this is a very good army in a pitched fight, but Haas has the flexibility, he's got the maneuverability, and oh, he's gonna snap the Prism. He's gonna snap the Prism. No, Hero with a good pullback. Hero realized that was a risk, and Haas loses a Stalker there. He's gonna pull back for now. Still no, okay, there we go. Shield battery done in 18 seconds. And you know what? I think realizing he can't push in here, Hero is going to go for a double Immortal drop up against Blink Stalkers, an incredibly dangerous play. Everything else is going to go home. I mean, Hero realizes he's got to gamble a little bit. He's going to have 2 Immortals at home, 2 Immortals in the Prism. Does he go in blind? He goes in blind. He has no idea where the Stalkers are. He's going to kill probably 3 probes and then pull out. Any more than that would be an insane risk. He's got to stay on the edge here, otherwise the Stalkers could take the Prism down. But he's going to try and use this area. Stalkers can hit you from there, but only usually a couple at a time. Oh, Hero is going for broke here, and way too greedy. That was a really silly move from Hero. I think he was under the impression that Haas was on the map. He said, hey, Haas has taken so long to get back here. I think Haas is actually pushing into my base. Let's really double down, get a bunch of damage, and then I'll recall home to defend at home. So it's one of those things where I think Hero just kind of assumed Haas was not coming back to defend that, was maybe just going to, go across for an all-in, which is definitely a Haas move, but losing a Prism and 2 Immortals suddenly turns that into a very bad trade. Hero is up in workers, so there's definitely the idea of like, hey, just buy enough time and, you'll be okay. And notice very cleverly, he's going straight charge. So he's skipping Blink and saying, I just need to have units that can fight and help me survive. And at this point, it feels like Haas's economic growth has stalled out too much. Lost another 4 probes, and I think he lost the Assimilator as well, maybe? But he's just not probing up very much as Haas. He's going +2. He's going lots of Zealots. He's got a 3rd base, but I feel like this 3rd is almost just for show. Hero, on the other hand, gonna squeeze a Dark Shrine out. No detection on the side of the map for Haas. He's starting an Observer right now, though, so he's realizing, game's kind of stabilized for a little too long. And man, talk about game sense. He has no idea that there's a Dark Shrine. He has no idea about the Twilight timing or anything like that. But he does it perfectly. And look at this. The DT goes in the main and then 1 in the natural. Cannon in the main. Almost perfectly timed. So the DTs will get a bit of damage. Not bad for Hero here. And, I mean, if Haas doesn't get a move on and go kill him, he's going to be kind of screwed. DT runs in the natural as well. Probe's going to try and fight that, but he's in a choke point. Oh, God. A bit of an awkward Zealot warp in there from Haas, as 9 probes in total go down. The DT in the main could also come back in, kill 2 or 3 probes, take a few cannon shots, pull back, regen shields. That's a very powerful maneuver if he chooses to do it. On the other side of the map, Hero's economy is so much better, though. He's got so many Immortals. He's adding Zealots. This gateway count does kind of suck, though, doesn't it? Hero is only on 4 gates, going to 5, up against the already 8 gateways of Haas. Haas now probing up, and this is so fucking bizarre. Sometimes Haas just plays StarCraft so weird, and this is one of those moments. Haas, I think, had so many edges at various points of this series, or this game, and now what is he doing? He builds 3 probes, and then he just sits there. He's so focused on hitting with a +2 timing. Why are you making probes? If you're going all in, you're all in. Stop building probes. I hate to rant at a player, guys, but I guarantee you, Haas is going to be annoyed at himself if he doesn't win this game. If he doesn't win with this attack, he's going to realize, why am I probing as my attack's going across the map? He doesn't have much of a follow-up. Could he win with this? Technically, yes, especially since Hero is so afraid he's not out there. Hero could beat that army. Head-to-head, Hero's army wins, but he doesn't realize it at the time. So he's a little slow to engage there. 3rd base actually survives for now. Zealots do click on it. Nice move by Haas, but the Archons, the Guardian Shield, the Immortals, I mean, this is a great fight for Hero, and Hero just has such a bigger army, and Haas can't make up his mind on which direction he's going. Is this a real 3rd or a fake 3rd? Look, he's even recalled probes from his main, but he forgot to set them to mine. Haas He's known for his creativity, his odd play, his weird play. But you know what? Sometimes weird play, it usually lines up, and I can tell what he's focusing on and why he's doing what he's doing. He looked a little lost in the last 3 minutes of this game, 4 minutes of this game. He's kind of doing a little bit of both. He's not taking advantage of the maneuverability to probe up really hard, and he also wasn't kind of getting in the face of Hero and doing an aggressive timing, and doing neither of those, waiting all the way for +2, which was, I think, way too slow, waiting for that upgrade, especially when you're just on Zealot Stalker. It's more about numbers than upgrades. Your opponent's the one with the much higher quality army. Nice flank of Zealots, but I think the army supply is just way too much here. And look at the way Hero's even picking up Archons, picking up Immortals, ferrying them to the back. Fantastic play, and Hero does end up winning that game. GG. Great harassment to get himself back in that game. Even though the Immortal drop wasn't directly cost efficient, it felt like it was almost the final straw of harassment on top of the Adepts, the Oracle, and everything else that kind of distracted, confused Haas, and then bought enough time for Hero to get the Dark Templar in. And from there, it was off to the races for Hero, who, from some awkward position in the early game, did get into a very good spot. Well played by Hero from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. His opponent in the bottom left side, of course, is Haas. Neither player opting for the low ground wall off, and they're both going exceptionally early probe scouts across the map. So neither one wants to get surprised. They want to play with all the information this time around. Does having one sentry with Guardian Shield negate the +2 weapons? For the Stalkers it does, for the Zealots it does not. Only works on range damage, the Guardian Shield. Now, I'm actually not sure. I believe even if a ranged unit is in melee, then it still knocks the damage off it, but I don't know. Someone will have to verify that one. I feel like I've asked this before in the past, and I always forget what the answer is. So technically, if they've got a Guardian Shield, you get your Roaches up in melee, your Stalkers up in melee range. Maybe they ignore the Guardian Shield. I really don't know, guys. I do not know. Second pylon goes down for Hero. Right on time. Haas needs to drop that very soon, or it's going to be late. Haas has forgotten his second pylon, guys. This is a ridiculous screw-up. He's not going to be able to start his 2 gateway units for about 8 seconds, and he's supply blocked here, unable to build probes. Now, I don't know if he's... That's just a mistake. Haas has woken up on the wrong side of the bed today, guys. It's just... That's inexcusable. He starts Warp Gate, and he's not going to start the gateways, because he's like, oh yeah, I'm proxying you. And he kind of makes it look like a proxy. So maybe Hero takes the bait, kind of like Haas did in the last game, and hunts the whole map for proxies, but just a bit of an awkward opening here. And the only problem, of course, is that Hero did not keep probing. Hero has stopped on 24. Is looking for a quick nexus before resuming probing. So he doesn't really get too much of a lead or anything. It's just a slight advantage on these units popping out. You can see, like I said, about 6, 7, 8 seconds ahead, those Stalkers pop out. Sentry Stalker's already gathering energy for the Hallucinate. Looks like that pylon got cancelled after, of course, he saw what was going on. Neither side's lost anything, except for Hero putting the pylon down to spot the Stalkers. And Haas, Twilight into Blink before going... It could be DTs, but he's going Twilight before Nexus. And that usually speaks of him going very aggressive. The Sentry, interesting. That's very gas heavy. Stalker's coming out, very early hallucination. Hero's still looking around for proxies. 2 very dangerous Protoss players. Now, sometimes it actually gets rather dull when you have 2 cheesy aggressive guys versus each other, because they both just scout really well and play very defensive. It's this weird thing where it's like, well, you're such you're a loose cannon. I'm a loose cannon as well. We're both fucking crazy, and let's just counter that. Let's play exceptionally safe. That seems to be what Hero is opting for here with a defensive Robo after expand. I don't think he'll delay his Twilight too long, unless this is just a new style from Hero. It's just always going Robo. Be fascinating. Haas with that forward pylon and a 3rd gateway. So it's 3-gate blink. So this Sentry, about a minute and a half from now, will get an energy for another hallucination. That'll allow him to blink in the main to harass. And in the meantime, he's just going to be going for about big Stalker attack, about 5 minutes 20, 5 minutes 30, through probably last for about a minute and a half, where he's at the front. You can see 4th gateway proxied on the front. So it's going to be 4-gate Stalkers, and I think the Immortal's going to really help Hero to hang on here. Meshes really well with sentries as well. Remember, Immortals are 275 minerals, guys. Immortals are such an expensive unit. Next time you guys complain about Immortals, just remember how much they cost. And Haas pausing probes right now. Haas is doing a 30 probe commitment. Oh my god, has this been spotted? Oh my god, he doesn't see it! Dude, these guys are so good at picking their proxy locations. Neither side ever spotting the other one's proxies. Twilight Council goes down, tells this hero has no idea he's under attack. He's just thinking about getting the next tech up. If he knew, he would probably drop another shield battery, maybe a third gateway, and definitely wouldn't be thinking about things like extra gases. He'd be like, build Stalkers, build Stalkers, build Immortals, build Stalkers. Does have a second Immortal being chrono boosted. As I said, nice beginnings to a defense. Adept's coming to get 3 probes. Ooh, knocking Haas back to 1 base mining. That makes this incredibly committed. Now, Haas might look for a force field here. Trap some of these units. Sets off the barrier on the enemy Immortal. But he's got to warp in some Stalkers at home. He's warping everything in at front. Second Immortal will be here in time. This is not going to work out. It's going to be a 2-0, I believe, for Hero. Because when he blinks on this Immortal, the other Immortal's going to do crazy damage. Blinks in, battery overcharge. Takes 2 volleys to die. Great force fields to, of course, stop Haas from being able to focus down the other units. The battery overcharge, the probes doing so much there. And remember, Haas is still not mining on his natural. So that was basically an all-in. He was hoping to kill the Immortal before a Warp Prism or anything else got down there and kind of go from there. Look at that. He sets off the barrier. He's going to warp in a few more Stalkers and he's going to come for it. These guys need to get over there, but 13 Stalkers is not going to cut the mustard here, especially not with a Warp Prism out. Oh, and he's going to go back. Look at the way the Warp Prism is distracting. He accidentally clicked on a pylon and Hero slapping Haas down. Haas waking up on the wrong side of the bed today. Playing a little bit awkward there, but Hero is on an absolute tear in this matchup. Gets the 2-0.